RemedyLIVE.
Welcome back to the Seriously Serious Show. Fireflight is with us right now. The one, the only Dawn with the streak of hair that I love, and Indiana Jones staring behind. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty great. I feel awesome because about an hour ago, I remembered that I was supposed to do this. And so that was plenty of time to make it happen.
Let's just be honest, you're not the only person to ever almost forget. So an hour is perfect. An hour is enough time. I'm glad you remembered to come on the show.
Me too. I'm so glad. I'm so glad to be here.
Well, you just came back from Europe, correct? And so you've been traveling. Life's been crazy for you right now. What was it like in Europe?
Oh, it was awesome. It was beautiful. It was an 8-hour time difference. But it was a whirlwind show. It was kind of a last minute booking for us. So we only had the one show. So we flew out last Thursday and got there on Friday because you have to fly like all night. And then had the show on Saturday and then flew back on Sunday. And I was about ready to die on Sunday or kill someone, one or the other.
So besides the lack of sleep, how'd the show go on Saturday?
The show was phenomenal. I'm so thankful to God because, like I said, we didn't get a lot of sleep, and you never know how that's going to turn out sometimes when you're the singer. But it was amazing. Our show went really well, and the crowd was incredible. The Germans they just love shows, they love concerts and everything, and they're really stoked. And it was pretty insane, actually. They were throwing each other into the air, like, you know, like cheerleader competition style, where like the girl just flies up like 20 feet up and everything. They were doing that. And then there was a dude who had a kid on his shoulders, and then that kid had another kid on his shoulders, and then that kid had a girl on his shoulders. So it was like 4 people tall, and they're like, woo, in this humongous human tower. And then they kept making this huge like slam dancing pit in the middle. And then they opened the pit all the way up, and people started doing round off hip back handsprings down the middle of this pit. And I was like, we should be filming the audience because it is more entertaining than us right now.
It sounds amazing. It sounds like you just have to be there to experience something like that. It sounds like the crowd went nuts.
It was incredible.
Well, that was a great experience. But you also said you visited, you were there for one day, but you also visited a castle. Is that correct?
That's right. We flew all night in the airplane and pretended to try to get some sleep. And then on Friday, we drove like an hour to where the venue was going to be. And right next to the venue is this humongous castle on a mountain. You can see it from miles and miles away. It's called Hohenzollernberg, which I think berg means castle. But it was incredible. So you have to park mid-level, and you can take a shuttle all the way up to the top of the mountain. But instead we like hiked. So we hiked up this path, and we got all the way to the top, and there's this incredible castle. And like my whole like childhood consisted of me just mourning the fact that I was born in the wrong era. I always wanted to be born in medieval times. So, and I went to medieval times, that thing where you go to eat and you eat with your hands and stuff, and it was totally disenchanting. But getting to go to this castle was like the peak of all of my childhood dreams. So it was amazing.
Well, it sounds awesome. You were so excited about it, but then I guess you did the tour, but it was all in German, and you thought that people were poisoning each other. What was this about?
Yes. Well, I guess we got there like at 2, but what we didn't know was exactly at 2 o'clock was when the last English tour was given of the castle. But we still wanted to take the tour of the castle, so we took the tour of the castle with these little books in English that weren't really along with what she was saying, but the tour guide was just talking in German the whole time. Well, she kept saying poison, 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 and like we're in this hall where there's huge like family trees painted up the walls, and it's every person since the like 1800s that has been in the family kind of thing painted on the wall. And she kept saying poison, poison, poison. We were like, good Lord, the whole family was poisoned and killed. We can't imagine how anybody survived this dynasty. But it turns out that we would say Prussian, but they say poison, and it sounds just like poison. And so nobody was poisoned as far as we know, so that's great news.
Yeah, that is good news, especially when you're traveling around that point, and it just makes you feel better about a castle instead of it being this dark.
I mean, a little poison is kind of intriguing, but everybody poisoned, that's depressing.
That is a huge, big difference. Now, you have been going through a lot of change just with the band going independent. What's that been like to now be independent?
It's been pretty crazy. It's kind of been a mix of really awesome and really, really scary because like for the last, I don't know, 5 or 7 years, we've been on a label and whenever we were going to make an album, they always paid for it. Of course, that meant that they told us when we were going to do it, which sometimes meant like 2 weeks ago instead of 3 months later, like we thought it was coming, stuff like that. So it's kind of scary to be like, yeah, we're going to make an album, but we're going to do it all on our own. And we're just going to have faith that our fans are going to help us make the album, and we're going to get there. And that's we're biting off a lot, but it's been really amazing outside of that though, because now we kind of make our own schedule. Like, whereas before it'd be like, hey, you have to have an album out by, in the next 6 months or whatever. And then maybe next month we'll call you and tell you it's actually going to have to be in the next 3 months. And I know you're touring full time and you're only home 3 days out of the month, but we need you to go ahead and get it all written. And so just kind of crazy. But this time, since it's been kind of on our own schedule, like we've been writing for 7 months now. We've got like 24 songs, and I'm still going to do a couple more sessions before we finish picking out the songs for the album. So it's never been that way before. We've been having these listening parties where we're listening to all the songs we've written and we're trying to decide which ones are going to make it to the album. And before it's just been like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We did it. Okay, make an album, So it's been really awesome because it's given us a lot more space to, to be creative and to not just be under constant pressure, which a lot of times can be really stifling.
I'm sure. Or you could make it a deluxe album and have a 24 song.
Yeah, maybe we can make like a 4-disc album, like the Forrest Gump soundtrack.
There you go. Nice. But what has that been? It sounds like it's been freeing almost, where you're able to do what you want to do on your schedule, work together. Has it been a relief to you to be able to do what you need to do?
I think in a lot of ways it has. I mean, like I said, it's been really scary. It's kind of like quitting your job to do your dream.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's super freeing, but you're not sure if you're going to be able to pay your rent. So it's kind of both things at one time. So, but I think overall, we are so excited about the new music and the direction of the album and the people we've been able to work with, and the way it's just shaping up. And it's going to be totally... like the way that we're making this album is totally different than we've ever made before. And I think in a way, it's going to result in, probably the most powerful music we've ever written.
Oh, that's awesome. And I can't wait for it. Now, how can people help you in this pledge to make this album? Can you tell people where to go?
Yeah, well, most bands have like a pre-order type situation. I mean, we always have. But in this instance, we've got a pre-order situation not only where you can pre-order the album, but you can also get different packages and things like that. And by doing so, you're actually helping the album to be created. So we're just inviting our fans and our friends to get behind us and to kind of buy their album ahead of time. And by doing so, actually ensure that the album is made. And so we're working with an awesome website called Pledge Music, and it's pledgemusic.com. And it's kind of a neat place. It's like Kickstarter. I think the whole fan fund thing has been so successful with Kickstarter that I think people call fan funds Kickstarters now. Like, we're going to do a Kickstarter at this place called Pledge Music. But we really kind of looked into all the different websites that were out there because a friend had introduced us to Pledge Music. Because with Kickstarter, if you've got a great idea for making some cool bookmarks, you can go to Kickstarter. Any project can go to Kickstarter. But with Pledge Music, it's all musical projects. And we were seeing bigger and bigger bands working on Pledge Music. And with this situation, instead of just anybody who wants to sign up can have a pledge fund, they actually select which bands are actually going to be allowed to use the website to fund their projects. And so after talking to them and working with them for a little bit, they felt like they really believed in us and they wanted to support us and help us. So with Pledge Music, it's not like just having a place to do your fan fund, but you also get kind of like all their marketing tools and all the things behind it. So that's how we chose Pledge Music. And it's really cool. And they can go to pledgemusic.com/projects/Fireflight.
That sounds amazing. Now I have to ask, because I got to pry. It looks like everything's going really well, and the people, I believe, are going to support this so we can get another album out. And if they do, is there any guesstimate on when the new album might drop? I'm trying to find like news you can't get anywhere else. Like do you know the date yet?
Well, nobody wants to count their chickens before they're hatched, even though they are having faith. So we've still got like 28 or something days left on the fan fund. So at the end of 28 days, if we meet our goal, then we will start recording. And then once we finish the recording, it will be a certain amount of time after that for the mastering and all that stuff. But our goal is going to be early fall, end of summer. So hopefully mid-October at the latest.
That's what I want to hear, because I want you people to start raising the funds so they can get started writing this album. Like, the earlier you get them the money to do this, the earlier they can get started and start being in the studio, start doing it. So make sure you go to www.pledgemusic.com/projects/Fireflight. Thank you, Dawn, so much for taking time out of your busy schedule from Europe, flying everywhere, and coming on the Seriously Serious Show.
Well, thank you to the Seriously Serious Show and RemedyLIVE for always supporting us and being such great partners with us in our ministry. And thank you to all of our fans who've been helping us already with the Pledge Fund and everybody who's considering it now. If you can't pledge, then maybe you could at least just pray for us and pray that God will help us reach our goal. And we're super excited with what God's going to do with this new album and where it's going. And we think everybody's going to really like it.
Awesome. Thank you again so much, Dawn. We actually got some Fireflight music for you right now, so make sure you stick around.